Okay, so it's been about maybe about half an hour or so. I've been playing around. I looked around my shop for a few more tools, a few more objects that I can use. And then I made quite a few. What did I make? One, two, three, four, five different things. And then I remade my person too. Here, let me show you some of them. So here's my little army of monsters that I made. So this is the one that I made earlier in front of the film, and I didn't like the proportions of the corn as the head and the arms and the body. So then I made this one right here with a shorter screw, and then with this shorter screw, I um, I made the arms and legs a little shorter too, and then I found a little magnet, which that's good for me. You guys might not have it. Um, the magnet helps this guy stand up. If you don't have a magnet, which most of you probably don't have, you could just make sure that you bend it in a way that you triangulate the legs. So what you're trying to do is just like when you're playing basketball, you kind of spread your legs apart and have your toes going at an angle, and that increases your lowers your center of gravity, and it increases your stability, right? So if I were to do something like this with this piece, I'd take these little toes that I have, and maybe I should have made it a little bit longer, but again, I just didn't want it to look very I didn't want it to look improportionate to the head. So now I have these little toes that I put in. Now that I have those toes in there, I could kind of figure out where's the center of gravity, bend them just a little bit here, a little bit there, right? Not there yet. Let's see. And, ooh, close, close, close. I went too far. There we go. There. Voila, now it stands, it has its arms straight out. It does look a little short now. You do see that, right? Yeah, you do. So, yeah, and then, if you want to be creative, you could put little, I don't know, something on the hands, something round. Something that probably isn't the same as the corn, because the corn is representing this head in this situation. I really like this one that I made. All it is the little red cups, and I have two little nails. And the nails, they're not even put together very nicely. My son took the the Gorilla Tape that I had, and he left it outside. I'm sure I can find it if I tried, but I just use masking tape. And what I love about this piece right here is when you take the arms and you kind of, oh, you can't quite see that, huh? Or maybe if I do it this way. If I just take the arms and I bend them backwards, the head looks up very optimistically, and when I bring the arms closer down, it's much more like straight up and down. And if I spend a few more minutes on this, I bet I could make it so that the head can even like drop down like it's depressed, right? I thought that'd be kind of fun. And then I made this little monstrosity just out of just some wire and a rubber band. I don't know if it looks really humanoid. It has what might be two eyes, what might be 2 feet. Individually, it's not very great, but I think, in numbers, some things tell communication, or some things communicate better in numbers. And this one, I went ahead and, bend it so that, well, I could bend it better, I guess. Earlier it stood up. Anyway, I can make that stand up for you guys too. And then this one's kind of, I don't know, kind of silly, I guess. It's just a little happy face with 2 feet. You know, you can go more abstract. You can go more like realistic. I really, really want to see quantity, not necessarily like realism. So don't spend your like all period or all hour trying to make like one guy that looks really, really good. Okay. Um, as you're making these, I also want you to think about like what your favorite book is. Maybe maybe you can come up with uh, like a joke or something like that. You know, two guys walked into a bar. You know, one said "ow." I don't know. So anyway, think about jokes like that because we're going to use these in that context. And in order to tell those stories, we need to have quantity. So I'm going to go ahead and record another version of each of these individually of me making them. Oh, and I also made this little thing right here. I don't like it at all, but think about how simple this is. All it is a little little clamp. I put like a rubber band with the eye around it. I don't like the idea that it's just like one eye. Maybe if I had two of these, it would make it look more humanoid. But you know, it can be as simple as this. Here's the thing though. This one took me 2 seconds to make. This one took me about 5 minutes to get it right. So I prefer that you make something about 5 minutes or so. And then what you're going to do is you're going to spend about 2 hours making one after another, right? So what is that, 12 an hour? So you'll have at least 24 if you go for about 5 minutes. I think that's a reasonable 24 quantity is about what I want. If you make something really, really simple like this, I expect to see like what? Like 100, right? So that, you know, you might not want to do 100 of the same thing. That might just bore you to death. You might want to spend just 2 hours working on something that's a little bit more complicated. And it'll be really, really cool if you can articulate it like this, where it really can communicate. But if you can't, you know, that's okay too. We'll figure out you can communicate by placement and context, right? So think about those kind of things as you go forward. Let me pause the video, and at this point I'm going to make each of these objects individually so that you don't have to watch the whole thing. You don't have to watch any of them if you have an idea of your own that doesn't necessitate this kind of skill. Does that make sense? Good.